Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So another ramble from me, and I'm not even sure what I want to speak about today, but I felt inspired to give another talk. So I thought I'd start with a Bhagavad Gita shloka, which is from the Chatur Shlok Gita, the 4 verses from the 10th chapter, which some say is the Ribhu, or the essence of the Gita. Aham savasya prabhuvo mata savam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddhabhava samanvitaha. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So we should be very careful to interpret or not to interpret this verse, because when Krishna says everything emanates from me, the Mayavadis interpret this as meaning you or I, but this is not the case. We've seen in the history that many Western scholars translated the Bhagavad Gita many times, many different people, and it's been a interesting source of discussion in intellectual circles, which is good also, but it didn't produce any bhaktas, any devotees much, maybe because of the power of the Bhagavad Gita itself is so absolute, and is actually aparoshayam, just like the Veda, is not spoken by any human. And that's the import that we're trying to give here, is that this is Krishna speaking in the Bhagavad Gita, and not some ordinary mundana, some normal man, because Krishna is the Swayam Bhagavan. Ete chamsa kala pumchas Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, the sutta is saying that, echoing Sukadev Goswami's words, that all these other incarnations are expansions or expansions of the expansions, and there are many different classifications of guna avatars and mukhya avatars and das avatars and all these different avatars. And even in India, many Hindus believe Krishna to be the Avatariya, and this is true that he did appear through Mahavishnu, but this was only an appearance. In the Gaudiya Siddhanta and the Gaudiya revelation, Krishna is supreme, and he has many names. Ultimately he has no name, he's the nameless one, but he does have a name, and this name Krishna, which in the Brahma Samhita, as Jiva Goswami commented on, and Bhaktisiddhanta later, that this phrase, the acme of entity, is used, which is analogous to the word swayam, meaning original. This root swa means original. So the wise who know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So this position of Krishna is very mysterious and transcendental, and I think the point is that, which we've made before, is you don't have to swallow the the whole tattva in one go. In fact, you can't, because with this empirical system of Western science, it cannot be ascertained. Western science always says, we used to know, we used to think, but now we know. We used to think this, but now we know this. And this isn't the case. They should better off be saying, we used to know, but now we think. And this is why Western science is always changing its opinion and revealing new things. And this is the same in the transcendental science of Sanatana Dharma as well, that we go through different stages in life, and for this reason the Varnashram Dharma system is prescribed. And so there's the 4 Varnas and the 4 ashrams. The 4 ashrams are the Brahmacharya ashram, the Grihastha, the Vanaprastha, and the Sannyas ashram. And the Varnas are the Shudra, the Vaishya, the Kshatriya, and the Brahmana. And they're all complementary of each other. They're not to be seen, Sudras are not to be seen as less than a Brahmana, and a Kshatriya is not to be seen as more than a Vaishya. Some say even actually the Vaishya community is the most important, but again it's this principle of perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. So this verse from the Vishnu Purana, Varnashrama Charavata Purushena Parapuman Vishnu Arajite Panta Nanyat Tattosha Karanam, that anyone who wants to worship Vishnu must be situated in the Varnashram system. So there's this Pancharatrika Vidhi, this path or this knowledge of the Pancharatrika rules and regulations and prescriptions, which are very laudable, and there is the Bhagavat Tattva, which is complementary to the Pancharatrika. In many ways, in many places, the Nava Anga Bhakti system is detailed, these 9 limbs of devotion: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padanasavanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. And there's different sort of evocations of these 9 limbs. Then there's Panchanga Bhakti, the 5 limbs, which sort of boils things down to a more manageable system. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he even commented on this Ek-anga Bhakti system. And what is that one limb? That one limb of Bhakti Tattva is Nam Sankirtan, Nam. And this Nam Sankirtan is again something which Shripad Indra Prabhu cultivated very ecstatically and intensely in Vrindavan Dham for many years, and we had the good fortune to meet him on a couple of occasions. So as per the will of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati and Indra Prabhu and Srila Prabhupada and many other great Mahabhagavats, everyone can and should cultivate Nam Sankirtan daily as much as possible, hearing, chanting, and remembering the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. But Bhaktisiddhanta, as the history tells, also cared very much about the Brihad Madanga, is what he called the printing press. This, although Nam Sankirtan can be described as Ek-anga Bhakti, with the Maha Mantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, being the foremost tenet, being the Siddha Mantran, perfect mantra of which, if you scour the Veda, you will not find anything higher than this mantra. Although this is the case, all the spiritual Chintamani Dham world is contained within that mantra in a aprakrita, unmanifested form. It can be extrapolated and is extrapolated by the countless Vaishnav acharyas' commentaries and their own spontaneous effusions, and so many wonderful books are there, and we should read. We hear this statement a lot, that if you're not reading, then you're not really taking advantage of what the acharyas are trying to give. So we've been instructed by Gurudev to read Madhurya Kadambini by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and actually I was also instructed to read all the books by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur when I was in Vrindavan in 2008. There was one devotee, I really can't remember his name, very nice devotee, who was very ill at the time. He'd been out in some distant part of Rajmandal and lost the use of his legs, and he was very, very kind to me, and we chatted a bit, and he said, read all the books by Vishwanath. And in my folio here, there's so many books by the grace of my friend who gave it to me, and under the Vishwanath category there's lots of books here, but I noticed that Madhurya Kadambini is in capital letters, sort of hinting that it's a very important book, and Gurudev said it was a very startling revelation, and it really is putting me, and will put all of the readers of it, in a better correct position of realizing their own position. Because sometimes we feel like, I've been in the movement 15 years, I know I know this, and I've done this and that, and then you read Madhurya Kadambini and you realize, oh, oh, there's a lot more. So I'll finish by reading a short section here titled Rag and Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Now sprouted and growing upwards, that creeper then unfurls two leaves, which are the splendour of sadhana bhakti. The first leaf is called Klesh Agni, the dissolution of suffering, and the second is called Subha Dha, the attainment of auspicious qualities. The smooth upper surface of the two leaves is the jurisdiction of the king, called Raga. Raga is in a preeminent position due to having been generated from spontaneous thirst for all things pertaining to the Lord, and by genuine affection for the Lord in a particular relationship. The lower surface of the leaves is rough and of a somewhat lower status because its activities are generated out of scriptural rules, and because spontaneous deep affection for the Lord is lacking because of lack of a pure relationship with the Lord. This is the domain of the king called Vaida. Despite their differences, both Rag and Vaidhi Bhakti equally share the qualities of Klesh Agni, disappearance of suffering and sin, and Subhada, appearance of auspicious qualities. So I'll end there. Please forgive any offences made knowingly or unknowingly, and Hare Krishna.